Hello and welcome to the Grande Sports Xra. It's the Monday morning edition, the very first of the week. After a very busy weekend of interesting sporting activities, we're here to give you a review of all that went down over the weekend in all the sports. Talking about from the leagues in England, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain, to the African Cup of Nations, and of course the Australian Open, and the NBA, and so much more happening in the world of sports. Well, the big news this morning is that Nigeria has been eliminated from the African Cup of Nations taking place in Cameroon. The Super Eagles fell 1-0 to the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia in their second round match, round of 16 encounter yesterday in Garoua. So the Super Eagles are out. We shall be doing a post-mortem of the match, and of course Super Eagles' general performance of the competition, and also do a review of matches coming up later today, which will see Cameroon take on Comoros, and Guinea and Gambia slug it out in their round of 16 encounter. Like I mentioned earlier, the Australian Open is still very much on. Rafael Nadal has breezed into the quarterfinals and is moving on in his quest to be the first person to win, the first man to win 21 Grand Slams, given the fact that Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer, the other two players that have also on 20 Grand Slams, are not playing in this competition. Simona Halep has been eliminated from the competition as well, and so many other big names, Victoria Azarenka as well, all have been eliminated in the women's game. So much to talk about in the Australian Open later on in the program, where we'll give you the latest update from Melbourne. So this is our lineup for today, and so much more that will come as we go along on the program. And we're here to ensure that you get the very best of sports as we usually do. I am Donald Agbabobo. Joining me on the show today, as usual, is Austin Arome. Austin, well, I know you're still disappointed, but then that's football for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Nigeria out of the Nations Cup.
Well, so disappointing for us to take it, but then it's part of football. You know, we move on, and you know, we'll continue our planning. Up next for the Super Eagles should be the World Cup qualifier. That should be what you know, should be of utmost concern for all of us right now. All the same, it's actually good to be here on the show this morning.
Yes, indeed. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, we'll go full throttle on the program, Grande Sports Xra this morning. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Grande Sports Xra, your one-stop sports show where you always enjoy the very best of sports. Well, like we said earlier, Nigeria is out of the African Cup of Nations. I think this is the first time that Nigeria has been eliminated this early in recent times.
Yeah. In
recent times, I think up until as far back as 1992, when we played in the semi-finals in Senegal, and won in 1994. We didn't play in 96. And we didn't play in 98.
Yeah.
I think in 2000 we got to the final. 2002 we got to the semi-final. Yeah. 2004 semi-finals. 2006 semi-final. 2008. This yeah, we got eliminated at this stage again by Ghana. Yeah. And of course in 2010 we got as far as the semi-final. Then 2013 we won.
Yeah.
Then we missed 2015 and 2017.
Yeah.
So it's in all, if you look at the last 20 years or thereabouts, we've only had this situation only once. And what does it mean? Does it mean that we don't have a team that's good enough to win the Nations Cup, or there was some factors that went into play, that came into play, sorry?
Well, I think it's not just about the team. It's not about us not having the team. It's just, you know, just like you said, some factors actually came into this play. As a matter of fact, in this case, you know, we started very well, and almost everybody were all rooting for the Super Eagles to go very far in this tournament because of the way they started, winning 3 of their matches in the group stage. And I think for me, that was the genesis of our problem. You know, that those 3 matches that we're able to win actually put us out there in spotlight, and you know, teams when you get to talk about the Super Eagles, you know, teams who actually want to prepare, extra preparation, coming into their game. I think that actually played a part. And also, when you look at, history, how, major tournament has actually, taking place, you see a situation where a team that managed to qualify for, from the group stage of a particular tournament, giving all those other teams that had it easy from the group stage. So it's just like that. It's part of football, and I think it's something that we must have to learn. We have to go back to the drawing board. The fact that we won 3 matches, does not mean that we cannot actually go further than where we stopped at this particular African Cup of Nations. It's just a matter of mindset, and it's something that we need to work on. Thank God it's not the World Cup qualifier yet. We still have extra time to prepare ahead of the World Cup qualifier. But then all the same, so much to learn from the Nations Cup, this 2021 African Cup of Nations. I believe that the Super Eagles players will learn quite a lot from what happened yesterday.
I'm talking about learning something. What do you think what can we actually take away from the African Cup of Nations as regards Super Eagles' performance?
Well, what we can actually take away from their performance is that on their day, I think the Super Eagles are as good as anybody. What I think might be our problem is our ability to adjust when other teams start when the other team starts taking some other using our own tactics against us. To an extent, I believe we found that we're solely dependent on the wingers, to bring to make things happen for us, and we did not change pretty much in this game against Tunisia, and they came in prepared for something like that, and that was what we gave them. And I was hoping that I'll get to see a change of pattern eventually, but that didn't happen until in the later stages of in the later stage of the game. And it's something that we can work on. Try to diversify. You don't play go into a tournament playing just a particular pattern, because when you get found out, it's very, very dangerous. And I think it's something that I believe all the players and the technical crew must have learned from at the end of the day.
Yes, indeed. And Tunisia may have found out the Eagles in terms of matching them tactically and doing everything to neutralize the threat, like you said, from the wings. But then how much did the red cards also affect the game? Because we know that the Eagles were already down at the time the red card was issued to Iwobi. Yeah. But how far did it affect the ability to come back?
Well, I think the red card to an extent didn't really affect the ability to come back, because I believe that they played better, when we're one man down than when we're even complete on the pitch. But then at that point in time, I was actually quite scared, because whenever we go on attack, we lose our shape, most especially when the Tunisians are on the counter. But then they could not take advantage of that, which I believe is something that could have been of disadvantage for us. But it didn't happen, and we played better with 10 men, which says a lot about the red card not having an overbearing effect. But it could have one man with 11 men on the pitch, on the field of play for the Super Eagles. Probably the result would have gone in our favor. But then I see a better performance from the Super Eagles, even with 10 men on the pitch. And we saw, was it Sadiq Umar that lost that chance, to equalize at the end of the day? It could have actually gone either way. But then, so unfortunate that we lost that game. And
the fact that the Eagles, the red card may not have affected it, but then with 11 players on the play, how come you said we played better when we were man down? How come when we had 11 players on the pitch of play, it was not the case? Were we too cautious?
Yeah.
But was there any element of caution in the way the Eagles played? The Eagles, was there any difference between the way they played in the group stage and what we saw yesterday? Was there a soft pedaling? Was there a drawback? Because I'm trying to put my head around it that fine, even in the group stages we had two players marking was Simon and Chukwueze at some point in time, even against Sudan and against Guinea-Bissau, but still found a way out and everything. But the general approach of the game, attitude, Nigeria's approach to the game, was it the right one? Because we know that fine, this is a group, this is a knockout stage, so obviously we wouldn't have expected the same full throttle, explosive approach. But then, were we just too cautious?
I believe so. I think we were just too cautious, and that actually affected our game. What I believe is because of the approach they actually use, the fact that it's a knockout stage, and you're playing on a tightrope, and you'll be thinking, you know, any slight mistake, you know, you get knocked out, and that actually, is the reason why I believe, you know, they use that particular approach that they use right there. Other than that, you know, in the group stage of the tournament, I believe that they had more purpose going forward. You know, when they are with the ball, you know, going forward, you could see that and transition so quick, and you know, it was quite hard for, you know, most of these teams to actually, to stop the Super Eagles in transition going forward. But in yesterday's game, I observed that the Tunisian side, they came in with a different approach, you know, different from every other team we played against so far. The way they attack, the way they defend was quite different. It was like they were set up strictly to frustrate us. They
were set up to defend and play for penalties.
Yes.
Then they got that goal, and we just played into their hand.
Definitely.
What happened?
That was definitely what happened. We played into their hands, and I actually saw a situation where you know, they were preparing for penalties, because if you look at history, in 2004, I think we played against them. 2002 or thereabout, we played against them.
2004, yeah.
It was the both matches ended in 2006, 2004. Both matches ended in penalties. So it tells a lot about, you know, the history of Nigeria and Tunisia. They were always, you know, involved in penalty shootout.
Okay, apart from being too cautious, was there some element of overconfidence in our play? Because you see, what led to that goal? Fine, that goal, we'll talk about that goal. Yeah. Is there anybody to blame for it? Because I know that before that shot was taken, Ola Aina actually misjudged the ball. Yeah. And it's marks of somebody that is full of himself. Yeah. Because he didn't need to rush for that ball. Yeah. And he missed it, and that was the beginning and genesis of the move that led to that goal. You could see some lethargic approach to the game. Something like, for me, I read it as, hey, we can score what we want to score. Yeah. We'll definitely score. We'll take our time. Did you see something like that as well? Definitely.
I think I actually saw it that way. Looking at the way Olaina reacted, you know, to that ball. Not just Olaina. I think everybody in that back line, apart from Zaidu Sanusi, who was not involved in that,
closed down.
They're supposed to close down on the guy. Olaina misjudged the ball. Quite all right. Yes, Truth Ekong was supposed to close down. He allowed, you know, plenty of space. They allowed that guy to, you know, enough time to actually assess and shoot. That's quite dangerous. And Kenneth Omero as well, you know, guilty of the same, you know, the same
crime.
The same thing. So I believe everybody in that back line, even the goalkeeper, because he misjudged the flight of that ball, and that was part of the reason why I believe that he could not save that particular ball. He misjudged it, and so I believe that everybody in that back line, you know, actually has to take the blame, and I have to exempt, you know, Zaidu Sanusi from that, because he was not very close to the action. But just like you said, it shows, you know, that overconfidence, complacency that we can actually score when we want, or, you know, this guy, I don't believe this guy can shoot. You know, that's the only way, you know, you could actually allow a player such space.
If it was a Mohamed Salah with the ball, they would have closed him down.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Did we? So does this now mean that we actually missed Osimhen and the players that were not able to make it? Dennis, Balogos of this world, Etebo is injured. Does this actually mean that these players, that we miss them, that somehow at the end of the day we just need them for if we are to do well? at any point in time.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you looked at the Super Eagles match over the years, in recent times, especially in the era of Coach Kenneth, you see that whenever Balogun is playing in defense, there's this sense of assurance. He brings calmness to the defense, and the opposite. We have Truth Ekong, who I believe is always very rushing into tackles and all that. But when we actually needed him to do all that brash stuff, he could not even do that yesterday. We missed Osimhen as well. The fact that Tunisia came with a plan to suffocate both our wingers. Talk about Chukwueze and Moses Simon. If we had Victor Osimhen yesterday, I believe that it would have been catastrophic. That kind of game plan would have been catastrophic for them, because I know for a fact that you can't have your eye on these two guys and leave Victor Osimhen to roam free. That's too dangerous for you. So probably the game would have opened up with Victor Osimhen there right away. A lot happened, and something that we must learn is that next time this kind of thing that happened where we don't get to have that complement of our full squad, I believe that we should actually work towards that, make sure that we don't have a repeat of this, because as far as I can remember, Nigeria is the only country where we're not allowed to even have our players in the squad. I can't remember, even Ivory Coast, I talk about Senegal, Watford actually tried to keep hold of Ismail Assar, but they couldn't. They forced Watford, and he was released. We have to, work on this. Let us not allow loopholes for something like this to happen in the future.
And what's the future of Awoni, Sadiq, and the Sparta Prague striker
Olayinka
in the Super Eagles now? Because one would have thought that it's obvious that is it signed and sealed that Osimhen is the number one. Without Osimhen, we could think of other people. But did they actually justify their inclusion, or was it something that you could not actually blame them for? Did they actually justify their inclusion? Because you had seen as an opportunity for them, this Nations Cup was an opportunity for them to take advantage of Osimhen's absence and stake a claim for that number 9 shirt in Super Eagles.
Yeah. Definitely. I believe it will always be difficult to dislodge Osimhen, not because he's playing, not just because he's playing well for his club, but whenever he's being called upon to play for the Super Eagles, you can actually feel that impact. I think this is someone who was top scorer for us at the Nations Cup qualifier, top scorer for the Super Eagles at the World Cup qualifier itself, and then what he brings to the team in terms of aggression. I don't think any other strikers in the Super Eagles setup can actually bring that. And apart from that, he brings that leadership quality. We talk about that game against Central African Republic. When we're losing that game, you could see his reaction. You could see how he was charging Kelechi Iheanacho when Kelechi Iheanacho was trying to delay on the ball. So this is the kind of this is the kind of spirit that makes him tick, and this is why I believe that these other strikers that we have, it might be difficult to dislodge Victor Osimhen at the end of the day.
But this player is actually over-pampered. Like you said, after the group stage, we were carried away and a lot of money promises and everything. Does money actually motivate to that extent? Well, it does, but you still have your opponent to contend with.
Yeah.
So how much of a distraction were the visits? And I don't want to mention names, but then they had a lot of visits and money promised them. Probably would have waited until maybe they get to the semi-final or final. For now, sure, but I'll like just maybe did that get into their head actually?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. We've seen in recent history. I'll take the team that went to the Olympics, for example, the Samson Siasia team. They went to that Olympics, very, very late, owing to the fact that, okay, they were neglected, got there, and you could see, the fire that, they were actually playing with, that anger that, look at the people we are actually representing. It's like they don't actually care about us. Okay, let us, play to actually show to them that even without their support, you can actually go very far. And I think that is what should have happened in this case. They should have allowed, these guys to do their thing. Wait for them to finish the tournament, and then you can actually, bring everybody together and, in a way, make all the donations, make all the promises you want to make to them. And to me, I believe that also played a part in, distracting these guys. And, it's like it actually got into their head, and, that they were distracted, and this is the result at the end of the day.
Yes, indeed, but there's nothing wrong in motivating somebody with financial awards, and so just unfortunate that probably these players could not handle it. Yeah. It was really, really massive. Well, Super Eagles are out of the Nations Cup. It's something that we have to deal with. As painful as it is, you could hear the low tones in which we're talking, disappointment, because nobody foresaw this happening. Yeah. Even despite we knew that our Tunisia were going to propose a threat, but for them actually going as far as knocking Super Eagles out, nobody actually foresaw it, especially given the way the Super Eagles played in the round of 16. So for us in Ecuador, I think all the talk of him staying permanently is now dead and buried. He just has to go back to. I'm sure we're very happy to silently slip back to his technical director role. But then the president we're talking about, I see they've not signed a contract with him, and we have a match in March, the Qualcomm qualifiers. So it still leaves the team in limbo. Yeah. Because there's nobody presently in charge of the Super Eagles, if you ask me.
Definitely. I think it's a very dangerous situation, to actually leave that position open, because right now is the time to start planning. We need to have a coach in place, someone who should be planning towards that, because it's not too far again. The match will be taking place in February. So I believe, if we are going to sort anything out, we should sort it right now, and it has to be fast, so that the new coach will actually have time to prepare. Not.
Well, we're told that it will be in Cameroon. That was the arrangement to just observe. But now we now go to know that he has not even signed a contract. So why were they talking about him but they've not signed him? It's as good as free. Another country can pick him up. Another team can pick him up today, and then whatever agreement you have with him is as good as cancelled. So why did you even announce him in the first place?
Well, probably maybe they were trying to get ahead of themselves, in a way, but
to calm tension.
To calm tension and everything.
Nigerians actually apprehensive. How is going to take us Nations Cup? What's going to happen?
Yeah, definitely, because when the whole Ecuador issue came up, he was appointed as a technical director. So he was put in place in charge of the team temporarily, which means that we don't have something permanent, and it's quite dangerous. And I believe it was they did that in a haste, announcing that they are signing a coach when that you've not even signed the dotted line yet. It's quite dangerous, and just like you said, some other countries might hear about it and decide to poach on the guy, which is what might happen. But that might not be the case. But next time, I believe that before they come out with something like this, they should make sure that they've done all the homework before making the announcement, so that it will not be a national embarrassment, so to say, when eventually these things don't get to work out.
Yes, indeed. Super Eagles out of the Nations Cup. We're still extracting it, but then, in as much as there's a lot to talk about in terms of what went wrong with the team, what may have happened, what may have gone under, that was responsible for the team's ouster from the Nations Cup yesterday. There's still some positives to take away from this competition. And Austin, what would those positives be?
Well, number one, I'll look at Moses Simon. Moses Simon, for me, one positive to take away from the African Cup of in as much as he was kept quiet last night, and you get to hear the coach talking about how they prepared a special plan for him. It shows that he has a rising profile. I think this is about the best I've seen of Moses Simon, since he started, playing for the Super Eagles. So actually, one positive that I can actually take from that from the Nations Cup. And then apart from that, probably I'll look at players like Joe Aribo. Joe Aribo actually gave a good account of himself. Even yesterday, you could actually see that he was one of those midfielders that made things happen. He was lively in yesterday's game, and it was quite impressive as well.
And of course, Zaidu Sanusi, for me, actually established himself as the left full back. Jamilu Collins should play second fiddle because, apart from the fact that he's playing for Porto, a bigger side, and plays Champions League, he showed in his competition that he is a quality left full back. I think all round Nigerian team is a good one. I think with good coaching, with good preparations, we can beat any team on our day. But then we also have to the goalkeeper is also a suspect. He's prone to conceding cheap goals. Look at what happened against Cape Verde. The first, although came back and won 2-1, you saw that goal, Cape Verde's goal, and he scored. And he's prone to conceding cheap goals, if you ask me. And this is something that they should actually look at, because that ball could have been saved. And but then it has happened. It has happened, and Nigeria is out of the Nations Cup, and we'll live to fight again. 2023 in Cote d'Ivoire is another opportunity for Super Eagles to bounce back, and let's see if we go. But before then, they have the World Cup qualifier to negotiate, to navigate the last round of qualifiers and to take on the Black Stars of Ghana. What a battle that will be, if you ask me. Well, we shall be keeping you posted on many more events as cards Super Eagles. They may be out of Nations Cup. Nations Cup is still very much on, so we're still going to be saving you interesting events from there. And before Nigeria's match against Tunisia yesterday, Burkina Faso had met Gabon, and they won 7-6 via penalties after the match ended 1-1. And Burkina Faso through the status of Burkina Faso through to the quarterfinals. So they play Tunisia in the quarterfinals, and yet another match where one of the teams was reduced to 10 men. The losing side played with 10 men. Though they came back to equalize the game 1-1, but eventually lost 7-6 on penalties. That's talking about Gabon. But then, it was a fairy tale one for the Gabonese. When even from beginning of the competition, where their captain, Aubameyang, could not play, it was like they defied the odds to even get to qualify from that group.
Definitely. I think when you consider the group that they qualified from, you say that they've had a good Nations Cup outing so far. They're in the same group with Morocco, Ghana. Ordinarily, you would think that Ghana and Morocco should qualify from that group, but we saw what happened. They were able to manage the game quite well. Beat Cameroon when they had to do that. They were able to manage the game against Morocco, manage it quite well against Ghana, and it shows that they have character, and it's something that every team should have. Character. It's actually quite a good thing in football. And when you look at this Gabonese team, despite the fact that they were one man down yesterday, you could see that they played fine, and they were able to manage that game, down to penalties. And I believe that they have a rising profile, if you ask me. The way they played at this particular tournament, even without their star man Aubameyang, it's quite commendable.
Yes, indeed. And so Burkina Faso and Tunisia will play the quarterfinal. That will be on Friday. And so instead of Nigeria, it's Tunisia. Still hard to take, but that is football for you. Today, action continues in the round of 16 of the African Cup of Nations. Guinea will play Gambia, while host Cameroon will up against Comoros. Comoros debutant, against all expectations, through to the round of 16. Well, at this point, the tournament is made already, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll be going into this match looking at it like we have nothing to lose. And I believe it's going to be quite dangerous for Cameroon when they're playing against a team like that, because they know that basically, you look at it like this is a team that came just to participate in the tournament, just to add to the number. But if you ask me, I believe that they've exceeded expectation. And going into this next round of matches, I believe they'll be more relaxed, because looking at it, they don't believe in their mind, they might not believe that, they are supposed to be here. So it's actually, how do I call it, a fairy tale story for them. And going into this game, I'm sure that they're going to cause problems for Cameroon. Everybody looking at, Cameroon are favorite, but I believe that they can actually cause an upset in that particular match, owing to the fact that they don't have anything to lose. Many people will not be rooting for them to win. So I believe that will take away the pressure for them. And, for Cameroon, they are playing at home, and everybody will expect them, their fans in the stadium will expect them to win. And, it's going to put pressure on this Cameroonian team. But we'll have to keep our fingers crossed. Let's see how that will pan out at the end of the day.
The next match, the other match that will be played today, we'll see Guinea take on Gambia, two West African countries. And of course, Gambia topped their group against all the expectations. Yeah. The group that had Tunisia. They beat Tunisia in the last match.
Yeah.
So they are a dangerous customer, if you ask me. They play against Guinea, and this should be another interesting one.
Definitely another interesting, matchup, if you ask me. Guinea, for me, they've shown different sides to their game. They've shown how good they can play, and they've also shown how bad they can be. I think in their last game where they lost to, I've forgotten the opponent, but in that particular match, you expect them to actually win because they played against the top two teams in that group, and they were able to, survive. And when you expect them to actually win, they lost that particular game. So it tells you a lot about them. This is a team that you can't actually, rely on them. And at the same time, you can't actually rule them out completely, with the players they've got in the squad. We have Naby Keita in the team who is running, the midfield for them. But at the end of the day, it depends on the side that they are coming into this game with. If they come in with that same mindset which they played against Senegal, against the other team in that group, I believe that they can actually win this match. But just like you said, it's football, and we've seen enough in this AFCON to actually know that nothing is guaranteed as far as the football is concerned.
So much about the African Cup of Nations. Now we'll take a break, and when we return, we will have more for you on the Grande Sports Center. Stay with us. Welcome back to Grande Sports Center, your one-stop sports show where you always enjoy the very best of sports. And we go straight to Melbourne now to give you the latest from the Australian Open. But the story is that Rafael Nadal continues on his march to winning his 21st Grand Slam title. He's in the quarterfinal. He beat Adrian Manarino in the third round match, and he's very much set to go all the way. But then he faces Denis Shapovalov, in the next round. It's a very difficult customer who beat Alexander Zverev, which was one of the top seeds of the competition. So in Shapovalov, Rafael Nadal will be meeting his first difficult opponent in the quarterfinal, and should he be able to overcome this one, probably it will be a pointer that it really means business. Because he's played so well so far.
Yeah.
Credit to him.
Definitely. I think so far so good. she's done well, just like you said. And I think this is the best I've seen him play in recent times. Because of injury, he's not been stable. He's not had this stable. There's no continuity in his game. Let me use that word. And this at the Australian Open, he came in with that determination, because you could actually see it. Got into Australia quite early. Prepared hard. It shows that he has this extra motivation to actually win this 21 Grand Slam title, which is something I believe is motivating him at the moment. And if he can actually beat Chapovalov in this one, because just like you said, he's not had a very big opposition, so to say. This should be about his first big game, if you ask me, that he's been asked to play at the Australian Open. If he can get over this one, I believe that it's going to send a message to everyone out there that he's actually serious about breaking that record, setting that record, having the highest number of Grand Slam as far as men's tennis is concerned.
In the women's game, the big names are falling by the wayside. Azarenka has gone, Raducanu has gone. Latest is Simona Halep. She was eliminated yesterday by France, Alizé Cornet of France, who is 32 years old and has been around, but then has not played at this stage of the competition for a long time. According to statistics, this is about the fifth time he's actually gotten to this far in the competition.
Yeah.
But then she made good meal of the encounter with Halep to win their match 6-4, 3-6, and 6-4. So Simona Halep, another big name, leaving the women's game. So the field is getting narrower by the day, and the likes of Naomi Osaka, likes of Ashley Barty, it looks like it's zeroing down to those two, because world number one, defending champion. So they look to the women's game draw. It looked like zeroing towards a Barty and Osaka final.
Well,
assuming they are not in the same draw, would you see them meet the semi-final? Otherwise, they are too likely candidate for the final.
Well, I think Osaka has been knocked out. It's just Barty left. And this one trend that we are getting accustomed to in women's tennis. In recent times, you see big names falling out. At the end of the day, you get to see a surprise winner. Take for example the U.S. Open. Emma Raducanu, she actually won it. Even at the Wimbledon tournament, you saw that she actually gave a good performance, and she came back, won the U.S. Open. And it's something that we've seen in recent times with the women's tennis. It's not guaranteed. The fact that you're a big name is not actually a factor as far as women's tennis is concerned this time around. But one name that I believe stood out, in respect to the big names in the women's world is actually Barty, irrespective of the fact that the other names you see them keep knocked out, but then Ashley Barty for me keeps pushing, and at the end of the day I actually feel that she might be the favorite going into the next round of matches, and it's our home country, and she'll be looking to win that title to make sure that she keeps everyone happy in Australia. And to be fair, to be sincere, I think I'm also rooting for her to win the Australian Open.
I think she's been the most consistent.
Yeah.
Last year she was. That's why she ended the year as number one.
Yeah.
She's been the most consistent. So it's only befitting that she crowns it all. A number one reign with a win at home in the Australian Open. She has never won the Australian Open, and this is her own country, so it will be a good one for her.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that will also be a motivation for her. The fact that she has not won it before, and the home crowd wanting her to win it. Hosting and winning, I think is part of the strategy, and the way she has done so far, I believe she has the chance to actually do that, and she's just like you said, she's been, one of the most consistent, in recent times.
And away from tennis now, quickly let's look at basketball. In the NBA, the Golden State Warriors beat Utah Jazz 116 to 87 points, and at the center of it, it was as usual. Steph Curry scored 13. He scored about 13 points here in the match, and was able to help Golden State Warriors achieve that victory. For the LA Lakers, LeBron James scored 33 points, but they still lost 107 points to Miami Heat. I think this is the 17th consecutive game that LeBron James is scoring at least 26 points. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that they still came up short in this encounter. Yeah,
definitely. I think this is something that we've come to understand about this Lakers team. You know, I'm quite surprised how at 37, you know, LeBron James is still playing at the highest level. You know, scoring up to 33 points, and I think he's actually defied the odds. And it remains to be seen what his teammates, you know, at Lakers are actually doing that to make sure that they support what he's doing on the pitch. If not, his efforts, as far as I'm concerned, will amount to nothing at the end of the day. Because as it stands now, they're actually in danger of not playing in the playoff. Seventh on the log, you know, still in that position. They can still, you know, go through the play-in tournament. But if they fall further from that position, I believe it's quite dangerous for them. And I believe that, you know, they are beginning to decline. If you ask me, you know, you can't have you know, players like Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, you know, LeBron James on your team, and you're struggling to win match. And you can actually excuse them the fact that, you know, Anthony Davis has not been playing, because for me he's that defensive anchor for them. And if you look at their record last season, whenever he's not in the team, you know, Lakers tend to lose. And I think that's it's part of their problem this season. If they can actually get him to stay fit, I believe that, you know, fortune will smile on the LA Lakers once again.
And on that result, Atlanta Hawks beat Charlotte Hornets 113 to 91 points. Philadelphia 76ers beat San Antonio Spurs 115 to 109 points. Memphis Grizzlies beat lost at home to Dallas Mavericks 104 to 191 points. Minnesota Timberwolves beat Brooklyn Nets 136 to 125 points, while Detroit Pistons actually had almost 70 points difference win over Denver Nuggets. Sorry, they ended it 117. Denver Nuggets actually won that match 117 to 111 points, while Utah Jazz, like we mentioned earlier, lost to Golden State Warriors 94 to 92 points, a very close one at that. So much about the NBA. For now, we'll take another break, and when we return, we have more for you on the Grande Sports Xra. Don't go away. Welcome back to Grande Sports Xra, your one-stop sports show where you always enjoy the very best of sports. Now we look at what went down in the various leagues in Europe over the weekend. Manchester City's 12-match winning run, or 13-match unbeaten, 12-match unbeaten run, winning run, not unbeaten, winning run. They didn't draw any match in the last 12 encounters prior to their match against Southampton on the weekend. But then they came crashing. Well, not crashing. They actually had to drop points for the first time in 12 matches. That match ended 1-1 thanks to a great American Laporte equalizer late in the match, and they were able to salvage a point from that match. and that's now cut their lead at the top of the table to 9 points. Instead of 12 that it would have been. And at that point, you could have said probably they were running away. But at this point, it's still out to play for the Premier League, if you ask me. Especially as Liverpool beat Crystal Palace, got good results. Even Chelsea got a win, beat Tottenham 2-0.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is what a lot of people are talking about. Talked about over the weekend. The fact that at one point it looks like Man City was running away with the league. But as it stands now, I think the lead is still quite modest, and something can actually happen at the end of the day. But one thing we must actually state here is that it's quite obvious that no team can actually go all season at this point in time. It happened in the past, but in recent times, it's always difficult to go the entire length of the season, winning all your matches. Teams will be coming for you, and it's surprising, that Southampton actually came into that game, most especially when you look at the way they played last weekend. They lost last weekend, and they came into this game against a team that you expect them to lose, gave a good account of themselves, held Man City up to that very point where it looks like, okay, it was going to be a win for them until Laporte actually stepped in, got the equalizer, and the way they finished that match, it shows the team with character, and it's actually it actually felt like they came into that match, to make sure that they get something out of that game, and it's actually something that they were able to do at the end of the day. For Man City, better luck next time.
In other matches, Watford lost at home 3-0, Norwich, and Everton lost also at home to Aston Villa 1-0. Wolves also beat Brentford away from home 2-1. Good results for away teams at the weekend in Premier League. Yeah. Newcastle also won at Elland Road, beating Leeds by 1-0. Manchester United were the only team that won at home. They pipped West Ham 1-0. Southampton, Manchester, like we said earlier, ended 1-1. Sunday saw Arsenal having another draw, playing at home at the Emirates against Burnley. It ended 0-0. Liverpool went to Selhurst Park, beat Crystal Palace 3-1 away from home. And Leicester City could also manage a 1-1 draw against Brighton and Hove Albion at home, while Chelsea beat Tottenham 2-0. So it was just Manchester United and Chelsea, home side that won, and in the English Premier League last week. And of course, in La Liga, it's getting more interesting. Real Madrid had to battle back from 2 goals down to salvage a draw 2-2 against Elche. That same Elche side they met in Copa del Rey during the week, they had to go through penalties to win that match. So it just shows that the Elche team is their performance is no fluke. They are a very good side, and probably they have a way of early Real Madrid.
I think we talked about that, on the World League show. The fact that they were able to hold on to Real Madrid, up to that very moment. And in this particular game, I think it was actually it looked like they were going to win at one point in time, 2-0 ahead against a team like Real Madrid. But they could not hold on to that lead. And that actually happened, and it dropped one for them. But all the same, I believe that they played really well, and to get something against this Real Madrid team for Elche, I think it's something that they have to be proud of at the end of the day.
And apart from Real Madrid, another team that played 2-2 was Sevilla. Talking about the top 2 teams, they ended their matches 2-2. Sevilla also had to battle back from 2 goals down and in their match, and against Celta Vigo. So for the 2 top sides, it was a weekend of battling back from 2 goals down, and they ended up 2-2. That tells you why they are topping their first and second. I think 4 points difference between them, but it's below them that things are beginning to happen. That's why Barcelona have slipped into 5th position, just I think a point or 2 behind them. Below the top 4 position. Atletico Madrid, they have 32. Atletico Madrid has 34, 35 match points. They are 4th, while Real Betis are 5th on the table. So despite La Liga is getting more interesting, Barcelona had to score a late goal. Frankie de Jong late goal against Alaves yesterday, and can we practically say that top 4 is within reach for them?
Yeah, definitely, it's within reach, if you ask me. Because if you look at the way this Atletico Madrid side is playing, you could actually say that Barca has a chance of sneaking into that top 4. and you know, it remains to be seen if they can actually take advantage of any slip from, be it Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, or even Real Betis. But it looks like, you know, Real Betis are not, you know, leaving any stone unturned. You know, in recent matches, you could see that, you know, they've been very, very impressive. And I kind of expected Sevilla to actually win that match against Celta Vigo, even more for anything, just to actually keep that pressure on Real Madrid, make the league competitive, make it very interesting at the end of the day. But it's actually good that they were able to get that result, and for them, it's also good that Madrid did not win against Elche. So keep things pretty much the same way for them, you know, within the same point range, and something can still happen at the end of the day. We have a long way to go in the season. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's see how this La Liga season will actually pan out.
In other matches, Atletico Madrid beat Valencia by 3-2. Osasuna won away from home, beat Granada. Granada had a very impressive home record, but that was truncated and punctured at the weekend as Osasuna won 2-0 there. Real Sociedad and Getafe battled out to a 0-0 draw. Rayo Vallecano also had a very good home record, but they lost it at Atletico Bilbao, beat them 1-0. So Atletico Bilbao, good vein of fun. They beat Barcelona during the week, and also won at Rayo Vallecano, who has been the team that has been tormenting other teams this season. So a good one for Atletico Bilbao. Then Barcelona and Alves 1-0, like we said earlier. In the Italian Serie A, we had some very good results, but Napoli for me stood out. They beat Salernitana. You could say it was expected. The bottom place side 4-1, and they've rejuvenated their title charge. They are now second on the table, behind them Inter Milan. So at some point they were about fourth, or even drifting out of the top four, but they're back. And Victor Osimhen is back. Is it a coincidence?
I think
he may not have scored, but then his presence and probably could, you know, is it a coincidence, or just maybe something that a reflection of how Napoli are playing at the moment?
Well, I actually thought about that. You know, when you look at the return of form of for Napoli, I really coincided with the time that, you know, Victor Osimhen came back from that horrific injury. When he came back, it's like he brought that extra motivation for the team, even when he's not playing. You know, you could see the way they are playing. It's quite different from the way they were playing when he was not available. Probably his return has actually aided them, and the way they played right now, even, you know, with Victor Osimhen not scoring, you could actually see that he has it's like he has that influence on the way this team actually plays, and he's actually I'm actually starting to believe that, you know, that he has is that motivator, you know, so to say, to this Napoli side.
Yes, indeed. And in that result, Genoa played 0-0 with Udinese. Inter Milan beat Venezia 1-0 to 2-1 to maintain their lead at the top of the table. Lazio and Atlanta, battle of big teams. That one ended 0-0. Cagliari and Fiorentina 1-1 it ended. Spezia beat Sampdoria 1-0. Spezia having a very good season. They've had good results against big teams this season. Torino too not doing badly for themselves, although they played a 1-1 with Sassuolo. Empoli were trashed by Roma 4-2. Roma bouncing back, back-to-back wins for them now after a run of 3 losses to the 3 big teams. They lost to Inter, they lost to AC, they lost to Juventus. And of course, AC Milan still struggling. I think they're in a position that Napoli found themselves some time ago. They did not be able to win their last 2 matches they had. The reality is 0-0 draw by Juventus. And as we wrap it up on the show today, we'll wrap it up with Nigerian Professional Football League, where matches played over the weekend. But unlike what we experienced in Europe, we just had 2 away draws. So that's the best away teams could actually get. Or just 1 away draw, if you ask me. Dakar going all the way to Umuahia to play the 1-1 draw with Abia Warriors. You know, that was also Sunshine Stars going as far as Uyo. So they held Wakwa United to 0-0 draw. Other matches, Solobi Stars beat Eyimba 1-0. Kano Pillars also beat MFM 1-0. For MFM, the 3rd straight loss. So they've already sacked their coach. I'm sure that they are bringing the person that they are bringing in, or the person interim, should be able to get his act together. Otherwise, he may not be given the job permanently. Wikitori beat Plateau United 2-1. That's why United edged Castle United 2-1. For me, if you need a judge, Aimba, not that they are doing too badly, but for me, they are losing too many matches.
Yeah.
They don't like Aimba. Aimba, in the course of the season, they don't lose too many matches. They draw rather. But it's like since this young league, about 5 weeks or 4 or 6 weeks old,
Yeah.
they've lost about 2 or 3 times.
Definitely.
So what's Finidi doing?
Well, I think maybe he's trying to get used to the league. He's trying to adjust. I think he should. I think he should. You know, when you are
because some of us want to see him succeed. You know, we want to see some of our internationals that have played abroad.
Yeah.
Big time football, Champions League winner, come to bring his experience to be on our local league. So to be a shame if anything happens to him. I'm not saying anything would happen to Finidi, but anything happens to him, because we don't see him last long. At least let this young player benefit from his experience. Yeah. Well, like you said, it may, sometimes it takes time for teams to actually imbibe your own playing style. Probably they are going through that phase at the moment. Maybe they'll come up good as the league progresses.
I think I want him to succeed, in a way, so that he can actually encourage others, to venture into coaching some of these local sides.
Many of them are into coaching, but they want to coach national team. That's the problem. So it was a good broad step when it took. Yeah. Actually coaching Nigerian Premier Football League. There will be 2 matches today in Nigerian Premier Football League. We have Gombe United at home to Niger Tornadoes. Rivers United will host Atlant. So keep a date with us, and this is where we wrap it up on the show for today. We hope you've had a nice time with us. It's been in the last 55 minutes or 56 minutes, we've been talking football, tennis, basketball, bringing you the latest as it went down over the weekend in all these various sports. For us, it's still a sad day for us. Super Eagles out of the Nations Cup, but we move on. That's football for you. We continue to enjoy the action of the Nations Cup. We continue to bring them to you. Latest information, latest from Cameroon, all through the remaining part of the Nations Cup. We hope to be back same time, same station tomorrow. I want to thank Austin Arome for being part of the show. Of course, the production team have done a wonderful job behind the scene. I'm Donald Agbababo. If you've enjoyed your time with us, let's do this again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day.